This project is a file server. It's using the Asynchronous web server. This is a project I've called a file server. So let's start it. That's its default address on this PC anyway. Now just note that it comes with a username and password, so it's got security access control, and you can turn that off if you don't like that. So I'm going to type in the default set of the code, admin for the username, admin for the password. There's the system running. So home page, you can do a directory of files on spiffs, you can upload files, download files, stream a file, I'll show you that in a second, delete a file. It goes so quick you probably don't see that change from stream to delete, to rename a file, change that file to a new file name, select it and enter. You can get the status of the system, how quickly it can upload, the last download speeds, how much spiff space is available on the ESP32, how much space is used and how much is free, and how many files are in spiffs, the number of cores, the chip provision, whether the chip has got internal or external flash memory, how big is the flash memory, 4 megabytes on this device, how much RAM is free, 190 kilobytes, what's the current IP address, what's the device MAC address, what is the router SSID, signal strength, channel number and encryption type. There's provision for adding new pages. So if I type the new page, click on the new page, sorry, I've just put there's no sensors attached, but that's very easy to do, and it just shows you how you can add new pages. The key thing to remember is this is an asynchronous web server, so nothing is happening right now because I'm not requesting any action, I'm not sending a client request. So the Arduino IDE loop section is empty. That's for your project. Put your projects in there. You've got all the time of the CPU at your disposal, and you can log out. I won't log out, but that takes you out of the password of username and password. So back to the home. Note that there's an icon missing there. There's a file missing, so I'll upload that file. I'll choose the file. I want that icon.gif there. Open it, upload it, and go to the status and just show that it uploaded with 21 kilobytes per second. 6.1 kilobytes was the file size. Go back home, and now the icon has been uploaded. So I can obviously delete that file. I'll go through that. I'll show you how I can delete that file. I'll delete the icon, enter, go back. It's gone again. So I'll upload it again quickly. And I've provided a series of test files. Those are the files there. I could stream a file. I'll just do this 10k test file that's finished. It just shows you how quick it is. What else can I show you? Other than, there it is, it's running. So remember, this is an asynchronous web server. So if you give it an instruction to upload or download, you can carry on using it. It will complete that task in the background asynchronously. So it's not linked to you or to time. It's running without any reference. Runs in the background asynchronously. So there it is. It's a ESP asynchronous web server. Call it a file server, but you can add to it as you desire. So here's a quick overview of the system. Directory of files, uploading files. Note that the ESP asynchronous web server uses a lot of RAM, and without PSRAM enabled, you will be limited to a 5K upload limit. You could download a file from spiffs to, say, a PC, stream a file. I call it streaming. It's just going to send it out to the browser, rename a file, delete a file, and display the system information. Note that it uses what I call a logical name for access, so you can change that name. You don't have to call it file server, so that's all you need to type into the address bar, file server / and it uses access control if you want to do that. Switch it off if you don't want it. It's one line in the code to disable. What hardware do you need? You just need an ESP32, ideally on a development board. Doesn't have to be, but that's all you need. When you have your IDE running, be sure to set the board type, obviously, but then make sure that you've got depending on how much spiff space you want, there are a number of options you can employ, from one megabyte of spiffs, 2 or 3. 3 is the maximum. You don't need over-the-air updating unless you specifically want to do that. So I've selected 3 megabytes of spiff space on that example there. So setting the system up, copy the 2 files into a sketch folder, edit the credentials file and either comment out or define access control. And if you do define access control, then be sure you've got a username and password you can remember or set. You just set those as to anything you like, the default admin. Update your Wi-Fi credentials, your SSID and your password. And if you want to change what I'm calling the logical name, just change that name, server name, to that one's called file server, my file server, or music server, or whatever you want to call it. So in summary then, an ESP asynchronous web server, it's very fast, runs in the background. No need to wait for something to finish. It will run in the background until it's finished. It will only respond to a client service request, so /help or directory or /upload, or via the menus obviously. Upload and download speeds are relatively fast. There is a constraint on downloads to about 5 kilobytes if you don't have a lot of RAM available to you. That's not the code problem here that I've produced. It's an asynchronous web server issue. I've not been able to solve it myself. The Arduino loop section is empty, so you can put your own project in there. Just add to the setup and then add your project in there and have file services available to you, like download the results file or something like that. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you enjoy using it. I hope you found this technical note interesting and useful.